morning, this is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Venice Scoop, bringing you the latest news for Venice, Northport, and Englewood. Today is November 18th, and it is Monday, off to the start of a new week. A couple stories out there. The first would be the homeless advocate, Robert Mirabal, I think is his name. He, I believe, has a meeting this week in Venice where he's going to give an overview of what he found out there. Basically, the news is reporting, the Herald is reporting that, and the same with WWSB, that there's a lot more families that are homeless, a lot more children, a lot more vets than had been originally thought in the Sarasota County area. So he's going to give his analysis, and I'm not sure if it's going to say whereabouts he thinks a homeless shelter should be built in the south area, which is, I think, somewhere here in Venice. The boat parade, they're looking for people for boats. Last count they had 10. I put something out on the page. There seemed to be a lot of interest. It's $15 per boat, decorated up, and you can win something. I don't know what you win, but you win something. It's been a tradition for many years here in Venice, and it's generally the week after the parade. And let's see, the next story is going to be on local businesses. I'm going to give my final thoughts on this at the end of the newscast. But basically, look, if you can shop local, buy local, it really helps promote the local community, promote the local businesses, the employees, and everything. So that's key, and that's why I started Venice, keeping it local. It didn't get enough traction, but the whole concept is to go out there and buy local versus at a Walmart. And there's a story out there about an individual that had an issue with two local places. She didn't put the names down, and I try to peruse through the thread. There's so many comments on there. Somehow I think the names came out, but I never really saw how they came out. So the reason I did post it is because the names of the companies weren't on there. But I believe one of the persons, Maggio with Reflections in Gold, stepped up and said, hey, look, we want to fix this problem. Come out and see us. Let's resolve it. Give us an opportunity. Which is, again, why local businesses are so great. You have the local owners that are there, and they can take immediate action and help you respond to any issues that you may have out there. It's always best to go to them first and note your concerns and see if you can resolve it. This next story involves Centennial Park and the use of video cameras. It looks like they have 6 different cameras with 5 of the views on the restroom area. Not sure if it's issue of violence or someone said, hey, it's for security, in case I'm attacked there. But if so, why are they all focused on the bathrooms and not that whole general area out there? Some have said, hey, it's Big Brother at its best. Maybe it is. Who knows? Bottom line is, why do we have 6 cameras out there, 5 of them focused on the restrooms? How much did it cost putting the cameras? How much is it costing to run the program? Do we have to pay someone to man it? If it is for safety and security, then is it real time or is it delayed and they just go back and say, hey, there was some issue in the restroom, some graffiti, let's look at the videos and see who did it. So those are the questions that are out there in regards to the Centennial Park camera. And where else are there cameras in the city? That's the big question. Is this the only spot? What say you, Venice? Involves the VPD and their handling of Sergeant Ron Parisho. As many of you know, I put up a blog by John Patton, and it explained how he had some sexual harassment on the job issues. Well, now that he's gone into doing some more blogging, indicating that he's been looked at a few times by Internal Affairs, or Lieutenant Todd Resch, and some of the developments there. Now, here's the strange part, too. According to Chief McNulty, he told his troops that this is all what John Penn says, he told his troops that he was pushing for demotion but was overruled by City Hall. When asked by John why City Hall stepped in, overruled McNulty's preferred disciplinary action, the City Human Resource Director, Alan Bullock, danced around the question a bit, stating that nobody at City Hall told Chief McNulty that he could not demote Parisho. When he asked Mayor Hollick about the situation, Mayor Hollick pulled I don't know, haven't heard about this issue, this is the first news to me about it. So, that's where we stand in regards to that issue. This next story is regards to Shark's Tooth, and why we are the Shark's Tooth capital of the United States. This picture here was found in Minnesota Beach. The people were out there all day just about ready to give up, and voila, they came across this prized possession. Minnesota is at the southern edge of Caspos, and it's probably the only place where the island of Venice actually connects with another piece of land known as Minnesota Beach. Now that's a treasure to bring home back up north. Over to Northport, I did a couple stories. One was about from January of through September 2013, a total of 1,287 residential properties have flipped. The analysis showed that the local house flippings generated nearly $23 million in gross profits for the people and companies that were flipping them. So that's basically about $17,816 per deal. Most of this house flipping is happening over in the north. For Sarasota County, it's happening in Northport, a little bit in Englewood, and then Venice. Primarily Northport, though, they're being hit hard by it. So that was an interesting story. Also Northport, the New Hope Church has a challenge for anyone that has that believes they're good at carving turkeys. On Thanksgiving, the church members will serve 800 guests on a free community dinner, and they're looking for volunteers to get out there and show how good they are at carving the turkeys. A great story. Okay, now on to the weather. Today it's going to be a high of 82, a low of 62, with some rain in the forecast with an incoming front. 60% chance of rain today, 50 tomorrow. It looks like we are going to get some colder weather with the highs only in the 70s come Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's see. That's basically it for the forecast, and I guess we'll move on to the next subject. Okay, on to sports. No sports activity from the local high schools today. The Bucks did win again. They had blew it out last night. They had a great game. They have another half of the season to go. Who knows? Maybe a playoff could be in their sight if they continue to win. Some people have their doubts on that one, though. Over the events, we do have down in Northport that continuing saga with Lamork Drywall. The school board's trying to do a conference call so they can somewhat control the crowd and the situation on it. They put out a few communications, but it misses the current test, and they're sort of vague on it. It's almost like they're doing a dance around. So the Charles and some of the other advocates down there and parents are trying to get together so that people show up to their downtown landings location tomorrow during the 3 o'clock public meeting and voice their concerns and call the school superintendent, Laura White, and others out on the carpet for what appears to be some real lack of good judgment in handling the situation. Also, the parade. We're in chair watch. Remember, they put out a new ordinance, I would guess, saying that you can't put out your chairs until X date or X time frame. And I think it's a Thursday or something like that. Well, in the old days, the chairs were coming out. Actually, not the old days, because the old days we didn't do this. But I don't know when it started. But let's say in the recently old days, they were putting chairs out like on Saturday and Sunday before the parade started and roping off their area. Supposedly, they're gonna, if people do that, they're gonna take the chairs and tow them away. So we are officially on chair watch and see when they start developing. Anybody got any pictures out there? Send them over to me. Final thoughts. This one, it cracks me up the amount of hate mail I get from not really spewing my opinion. All I really do is put stories out there that have Venice basically on them, or Northport or Englewood. You rarely hear me express my opinion on it. And it's funny the amount of hate mail I'll get, and I can only imagine the hate mail I would get if I actually expressed my opinion. This goes from the let's see, I'm considered anti-small business. Forget what I did with keeping it local and how much I support the small businesses out there. I was basically told that I'm anti-small business yesterday. I was also called a cyberbully because I put a picture up of a lady with a moped, and somebody saw her carrying a kid in the back. Some people said it was on the sidewalk, and some of her friends were on there saying the sidewalk, but people have actually seen her out in the streets, hitting bumps, kids flying up in the back end. You know, I just put it out there. I took it down as a courtesy, and then they started sending emails, so I had to ban a couple people just for because they had diarrhea of the mouth basically. And let's see. Also now I'm sure since I put the Parisio story out there again, I'll be considered a cop hater. Forget all the good I do on the police. I'll probably get a few hate mails for that one. But such is life. Like I said, it's amazing. All I do is post the stories that have basically tagged Venice on them, and I don't really give my opinion. So that always amazes me. Anyways, that is it for the news today. Go out there and have yourself a great day, a great start to the week. And from the Venice Scoop here in Venice, Florida, I'm Francesco Abbruzzino. Cheers.